Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Harris, and this is me reviewing some decks for founders. Sorry I missed a week last week. I was working on a longer video that hopefully we'll be releasing later this week or next week, but I thought I'd get back to the thing that I do a lot of, which is just reviewing a deck for a founder that sent it my way. So this is a deck from a company called Hedge, and I just want to say thanks to Jackson for sending it through. Let me give you some feedback. So let's just start on the title slide. Title slides. Every time I talk about them, I gotta say how important they are. And with your title slide, the things you do well is you have big logo for the company, Hedge, Hedgehog, very cool. But then you say democratizing spare change. And that's one of these phrases that I think it sounds good. It sounds like a big thing, but I don't actually know what it means. Now, I know from your email that you sent me that it has something to do with spare change investing, kind of the way Acorn does it, but I don't really know what this means in this case. So let's dig into the deck and see if we can figure it out. So the first thing you have is the Hedge product timeline history. So just as a note, you could probably just say Hedge product timeline. Saying timeline history it ends up being redundant. And I look at this and okay, so then in January 2020, you began development of the Hedge DFS platform with roundup differentiation. That feels, I don't know, it sounds like marketing speak. I don't actually know what it means because I still don't know what you do. And so saying that you began development of this platform, now I have to think about DFS. What is it? Okay, it's daily fantasy sports. Why is this relevant? Okay, then in August of 2020, about a year ago, you began the beta test. In February, you launched it on the iOS store. And in July, you're iterating to open source the Roundup solution. So there's a lot of different things in here, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to get out of it. I don't know if I'm supposed to understand that this is impressive progress or if this is sort of the narrative that you're building into. But really what you want to do with the first slide is either give me something very impressive about your traction, about what you've done so far, or explain what you're doing. So if we go to the next slide, it says business problem. So typically when I hear the term business problem, I think, I kind of think business plan competition versus actual business. Right? Don't call it a business problem, just tell me what it is. And it says typical gaming acquisition costs fall between $500 to $1,500 for first-time depositing users. I'm guessing this is for daily fantasy sports. Then they say with development, compliance, payment processing, blah, 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 it takes between 3 to 6 months to incorporate. I'm not sure what you're talking about incorporation. Are you talking about incorporating the company that's doing DFS? Or are you talking about incorporating changes? Like, I don't really know what you're getting at here. And then payment processing options do not cater to casual low-spend user segment. Okay. So now I think, well, payment processing might be the problem, or development and compliance time. I don't know what it is that you're solving. Now there's a problem for the consumer, which is spare change saving and investing applications do not allow for high returns in short time frames. So I'm just going to make a point that comes from, I guess, markets. Nothing guarantees high returns in short time frames. That would be awesome. That would be the holy grail of investing. It doesn't actually exist. So I'm trying to figure out what you're getting at here. And then initial lump sum deposits are not available for low-income individuals, and consumers' high-return spare change demand is not being met by current Roundup applications. So I think it's in that last sentence that you start to get at what you mean, which is that Roundup stuff kind of exists just within certain applications and not in others. And maybe there's an argument here that you want to make that, listen, Roundup stuff like Acorns, it's only available in purchasing or in other investing apps. But really where it should be is places where people spend a lot of time and money, which maybe is daily fantasy sports or maybe gaming overall, right? Like, hey, this is a place where there's lots and lots of people who are spending lots and lots of time and money. They should be doing Roundup, right? They know that they're just kind of gambling or playing, but if every time they gambled, they also put some money into investing, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be a good way to get them to save money and to invest it? That's what I think your narrative should be, if that's what you're doing. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but reading through the rest of the deck, I think that's what you're getting at. And if we get to this business solution, which is this next slide, you say Roundups as a service, let companies give their users the power of spare change. Give ability to businesses to collect funds from users, provide alternative funding methods, give consumers the high return potential they've been seeking without breaking the bank. Again, don't promise people high returns, right? You can say, hey, this is a way to sweep money into a savings account or sweep money into an investing account, but it's not necessarily high return. But now we're kind of getting at the thing that you're talking about in a technical solution. It's low code, it saves development teams, it's open source API. Okay, that stuff sounds pretty good. You have this demo that, I don't know, for me didn't load. Not sure why. And then Roundup's extension product, it's Roundups as a service. So you have turnkey solutions here, and you're saying, hey, we can just drop this into something like a DraftKings. That's pretty cool. Of course, you're going to have to get a partnership with DraftKings. So then you have this business model pilot program that you're a value-add reseller with Plaid, Finicity, Dwell. So if I'm not particularly experienced with the reseller mode here, the reseller platform, how that works, I'm not going to understand your business model. In fact, when I first saw the business, I would have expected your business model to primarily be oriented around what you do with the swept money, right? If you're sweeping cash from these people to invest, I would expect you to be earning money on the float, on the money that comes into you and what you can do with it. And so I'm now not really sure how you make money. Your market sizing thing doesn't quite feel right. My guess is that your market sizing should be a bottom-up build about the number of people playing daily fantasy sports and how much spare change they could sweep how much spare change they would sweep if they could sweep. If a woodchuck does chuck wood, or hedgehog, I guess is the case maybe. But you see what I'm saying? That's your market size. What you could pull off of those guys and what you could actually make off of them. Then there's potential market adoption. I think the tricky thing here is, and one, by the way, get rid of the stock photos. The stock photos tend not to make the point you want them to make. Better just use a logo or use words. You're not really explaining how you're going to get into these customers. And so when I see a deck like this, when I see a company like this that has to sell to large companies in order to get distribution, my question starts to become, hey, how are you going to get that distribution? Anyway, that's a whole bunch of feedback. I could go through the rest of it, but I think I've given you a lot on that first set of slides to work with. So I hope this is useful, Jackson. For those of you watching, I hope you learned a bit from Jackson's deck. If you have questions about your decks, feel free to send them through or ask some questions in the comments. Thank you all. Have a great day.